Okay. Good evening, everybody. I apologize for the late start, but we will get started first with the Finance Committee portion of our meeting. So, okay. So the first item we have to discuss, can I just go straight? So, unless anybody has any comments, we'll move the meeting minutes forward to approval at the board meeting, next board meeting. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Okay, so then let's go on to the building use agreement for summer 2019. Do you have any comments or initial presentation on it? No? Does anybody have any questions about the proposed summer use? I guess my only question is, so this is all, I mean, obviously we have not finalized or approved the capital projects for the summer, but this, regardless of what we decide there, this plan stays the same?
It's a tentative approval, and all the folks who are using the space understand that this can change based on the final summer project.
Oh, okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, we will move that forward to the March 18th full board to look at and approve the building use fees. So, any commentary on this? We're proposing increasing to 3%, is that right?
3%.
Okay. And that's just a basic run-of-the-mill cost increase. Questions?
Yeah, just a quick question. Is that built into our financial projections? It's small.
It is built, it's very small. We only collect about $45,000 in building permit fees, so it's immaterial in a way.
All right.
The majority of the folks who use our space, the city of Evanston, Skokie, our programs here are community members that serve our children, so.
And so we're not charging them in any case, so.
Thank you.
So, okay, any other questions? All right, that will also move forward then to the March 18th meeting for full board approval. And then we have one other discussion item, the 2019 Summer Capital Project status update.
So, as I was provided to the board members earlier, what happened was the RFP that we received back in February, we went back and asked the winning bidder to strip out two projects that the board decided shouldn't move forward. The firm came back and said no, all or nothing. So what we had to do, we have to rebid the project. And so the publication was put in the newspaper for rebid, and the bids were released on February 22nd. And the bid submission deadline is March 12th, which is next week, Tuesday. Bids will be open then. At that time, the day after that, March 13th, the architect, in conjunction with the district, would make a recommendation for the winning bidder. And on March 14, we will do a recommendation to the Board Finance Committee. And then on March 18, we'll present the recommendation for approval by the regular board.
March 18th is when?
18th, yes.
I think we've added a special finance committee meeting on March 18th. No?
You can discuss it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Typically, as a board, our typical process is to bring something to the board or to a committee, and then at the next meeting to approve or to bring it to a vote. But in this case, because of the time constraints and wanting to be able to get as competitive bidding as we can, we are going to condense that so that March 18th, we will be prepared to see, discuss, and then vote on whatever is brought forth. And just to clarify, we'll see, because I remember our conversation last month, we basically wanted to see sort of the suite of things that we wanted done and what could fit into sort of our $1 million budget and how we might be able to, kind of put the puzzle pieces together, what different options we had. So that's what we're going to see. Okay. Any other? Yeah, John.
I have a question. Can we just, what were the options then that we were putting out there for rebid? I know that there were a couple things that we talked about. So what were the options that we had that were on the table for that?
There were two key items, secure entrances at Orrington School and also one at Betsy Road. And there were also some masonry work at Chute, some guardrail at Oakton, as well as some asbestos abatement. And,
The bid
and also,
the bid coming in March will also include Lincolnwood
Lincolnwood.
School as well.
yes, it will.
And will it include Orrington?
It will also include yeah. So what we are doing, initially, the first bid did not include
Lincolnwood.
Lincolnwood. So we've included Lincolnwood in addition to the other bid, but stripped out two projects. One here for registration space would not be included with the rebid, as well as the King Arts changing room would not be included. So those two items will be out of the rebid.
And those will be out because they were not what was originally approved a year ago in the 5-year capital projects plan.
That's correct.
So,
Does that answer your
John,
question, John?
and John, the other way to think about this is that we have approximately $105 million of capital improvement needs in the district, and about 45 or $50 million of that are high priority. And so the bids that are coming forward are bids that will be representing that high priority, which were the secure entrances, and then the type of work that we need to do around our buildings to preserve the shell of the building, whether it's roofing or tuck pointing or asbestos removal or things like that.
So when we put the bids out, like we're asking for like a breakdown of each project, and then we can piecemeal it together?
Actually, none. In an attempt to get the most savings, what we've done is we've sent out the bid as a package. By that, we're taking advantage of economy of scale. So there will be a situation where some of the project will be subsidized by other projects. That way, we'll get the best price possible. So the bid will be submitted as a lump sum amount.
But then how, if at last month's meeting, one of the, a concern that the board had was around the staying within the $1 million kind of, budget that the referendum promise that we made around that's how much we were going to limit to. I'm a little confused about how we're going to be able to have that discussion if we don't have a breakdown.
What we can
You can still
do,
negotiate with them after you award the bid, right?
what we can do, we can ask for, we've asked them for alternate bids.
Okay,
So that allows us to be able to take out what we're not
Okay.
able to fund
Okay.
this summer. That's how we get around that.
So you'll basically have max pricing, because it's all going to be itemized, and then you'll put a package together and see if they can meet whatever their needs are.
okay. Okay. And then I know another thing, we talked about was, obviously, we did look at and approve a 5-year capital projects plan that it seemed like we needed to revisit.
Yes,
I don't know, is that something we're going to be seeing March 18th?
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
I just had a comment based on community cafe community member concern. I know that we're bundling for cost savings, but I just wanted to comment whenever possible, it would be nice if we source through woman or minority-owned businesses. I know that it's most cost-effective to bundle, but whenever possible, to search out local and support our local economy. And I know that the city of Evanston does that through a partnership with such organizations. So just for your consideration, and to honor the community's comments. And additionally, in partnership with CARP, just to ensure that whatever company we're searching out is using environmentally sustainable practices, just for your consideration and looking at those bids.
Thank you. Regarding the minority business consultant, women-owned business, we actually reached out to an organization here in Evanston and gave them a preview of the bid, the first go-around, as well as the second go-around, to give them an opportunity to bid on it. Regarding the CARP, we did not do that, but that is something we'll keep in mind going forward.
Right.
But we did reach out to business and minority-owned.
Right, that is part of the plan, and it was just a comment that for smaller businesses, it's really hard to compete. And I know that for possibly bundling the entrances to a bundled bid, and then maybe considering smaller projects that a smaller scale women-owned, minority-owned business could take on, I think, as a responsible community organization to support those businesses.
Can I add, we were at the same board cafe, and there was one other thing that was mentioned that the city does, which is offering the opportunity to come within 5% of a bid in order to be prioritized as a smaller entity. Just those were some of the suggestions for being accessible to some of our smaller, locally owned, women and minority-owned businesses.
We will keep that in mind going forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments regarding the summer projects?
I was just wondering, for the 5-year plan that we're revisiting, if we're making adjustments, if that can be through the lens of the equity impact assessment tool?
Excellent point, yes, thank you. Anything else? Okay, well, thank you very much. That's our last discussion item, so I will adjourn, do we, before I do that, any comments? Okay, so we will adjourn the Finance Committee meeting at 7:47. Thank you all, and again, apologies for the late start.